Our story today is about a man named Isaac. There he is. And Isaac was a man who really trusted God. He lived in an area where there were some very unfriendly people. And it was a pretty unfriendly desert land. It was hot. And there was little or no water. And it was hard. But God told Isaac to stay there. And he promised that as long as Isaac stood there, he would take care of him. So Isaac obeyed God and started to set up camp in this hot, unfriendly desert land. So Isaac's people came along and they all started to set up camp, and it was tough because it was hard to get water and it was always hot. But they unpacked their stuff and they let out the sheep to graze. There he is. There's the sheep. And, well, they started to make their home. They thought it was a pretty good place for their family. There was enough room for the sheep to run around. And all of Isaac's people thought, well, it's pretty good. So they started to dig a well so they could get some water. So Isaac got his shovel and he started to dig out that well. And it was hard work, but finally he dug it all out, and him and his people could have water and they could feed the plants, and pretty soon the plants started to grow. And he had food to eat and his animals could drink water and they were happy. So after a while, Isaac said to himself, well, we are really doing pretty good here. We've got our plants growing. We've got enough room for all of our animals to graze. And eventually they got more and more animals ready to just enjoy this land. Even though it was a hot desert, they were doing pretty good. And Isaac and all of Isaac's people said, yeah, this place is alright. So they got comfortable. But little did they know that the king kind of heard about what was going on. The king said, oh boy, these guys, well, they really are doing pretty good. And he started to get a little nervous. So the king sent his men to see Isaac. And these men said, hey, you know what? This looks pretty good here. And, well, I think we need this land. You guys and all your animals and all your everything else need to get out here. Need to go. And Isaac said, well, we did just get set up here, and we were doing really fantastic. But, well, if you want us to move somewhere else, if the king wants us to move somewhere else, okay. So Isaac left and went somewhere else. So Isaac and his men started to move on, wandering around, trying to find someplace else to go. And some of Isaac's men probably said, oh, this is no good. We were just so comfortable. I don't want to move. I have my place and my home. But Isaac said, you know what? I wanted to keep the peace. So I thought the best thing to do was move. God said he would take care of us. The least we can do is keep the peace. And the people said, oh, I don't want to move all my stuff and dig another well and move all the animals. But okay, Isaac. Well, let's go. Let's start digging these new wells. We'll find some place. We'll find some water somewhere. So, again, he had to get his shovel and start to dig. And, well, he already dug one well, so he was pretty good at it. He dug up another well so they could have water in this new land. So, finally, they started to settle down in this new place. They got some water, their animals were doing okay, and just when they thought things were looking pretty good, along comes the king's men again. The Philistines came up and said, hey, I see this well you're digging, and you know what? Yeah, I think that's our well. Yeah, that well belongs to us. And Isaac and his men said, oh boy, not again. Okay, all right, we're going, we're going. Isaac said, come on, guys, load up the animals. We need to keep the peace, so we'll go. You guys, all right, enjoy the well. We'll find somewhere else. So along they went again, wandering, looking for somewhere else. Isaac could have stayed. He could have said, you know what, I really want to prove this is my land. But he didn't want to fight. He didn't want his people to have to disobey what God said. So he said, I'm going to keep living in peace. We're going to just go ahead. We don't need to put up a fight. Let's keep going. We'll find somewhere else that has some water and some food finally. So let's go. And you know what we're probably going to have to do again? Probably going to have to dig some more wells. Here we go. Alright. So guess what? Time to get out that shovel again. Dig out another well. Oh boy. You know, he's getting to be a professional now. He's digging so many wells. So it didn't take him too long. It was still hard work. But he dug out that next well so they could have some water. So for a third time, they finally got set up and pretty comfortable again. They had some water, their animals had some room, and they started to relax a little bit. And, well, guess who showed up? The Philistines again. And for a third time, the Philistines said, hey, you guys have to move. This is not the place for you. So we're gonna take this land, and you guys need to you need to go somewhere else. And Isaac told his people, hey, well, I guess we gotta move. He could have stayed, he could have fought, but well, that wouldn't have been peaceful, and his people might have been hurt or killed. So he said, come on, let's get our stuff and our animals. Oh, I hope this is all worth it. And well, we'll go try to live in peace for a change somewhere. By this time, everybody was so tired. They had to move around over and over, and they were just getting exhausted. Even the poor sheep was so tired he was lagging behind, but he eventually caught up, so they could find another place to live. Oh, again, time to dig out another well, because we really need some water. So they dug and dug again to get another well so they could have water, so they can drink and feed the plants and feed the animals. Finally, the next well was dug. So, finally, they found somewhere else to be, and they started to once again settle in. And just when that was happening, I guess who showed up? This time, the king himself showed up and said, let's see what's going on here. And Isaac and his men said, oh no, what are we going to have to do? Are we going to have to dig more wells? Are we going to have to go somewhere else? And the king said, we see clearly that the Lord is certainly with you. So, we should make an agreement by taking an oath. The agreement will be between us two. We want to make a peace treaty with you so we can all live and be happy. Isaac and his men looked at each other. Did you hear what he just said? I think he said that he wants to be peaceful. Did he say we had to dig more wells? No, no more wells. He wants to have a peace treaty so that we can finally all live in peace like God said. So Isaac said, of course, King, that would be wonderful. They lived in peace, and they even had a feast to celebrate that peace treaty. Oh, okay. I never want to dig a well as long as I live again. Let's go, King. Let's get that feast going. Put on the hot dogs. Let's get some nacho chips. Okay.